Oh, hi, Shamara. Let me know when you can hear me. It looks like your audio isn't connected just yet. There we go. I love your picture of your family. That's so sweet. That pops up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It was a beautiful picture. It's teeny tiny now, so I can't really see it. But when I was waiting for your camera to load,
Oh,
I
it's
got
so
to see it. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. So
sweet.
sweet. All righty. So, how are you? I'm so sorry. I just flubbed up and messed up my calendar multiple ways today. So,
8:15 works better for me if you want to
oh,
just
okay.
um, keep it with at
Great.
8:15. So,
Perfect. All righty, so we'll do that. So sorry about that. I just was like, my goodness, I just blundered a bunch of things today. So it
you're
was just one of those days where I was like, I am just not, I don't know, like I was very creative today and I like got a lot done in that sense. But then like the dependability and scheduling was the thing that I just was like, I'm not doing it today. I don't know what's going on.
fine. I understand. I've been having a rough few months, so
Oh.
no, I get it. Yes.
Oh, well, hopefully this session will be a good time that can feel like, you get a break from that and you get to be creative and you don't feel any pressure. And it's just like a way to explore and express and not have to worry about all those everyday life things so much. All righty. So thinking back to our last session, what would you say was maybe the thing that stood out to you the most, the thing that maybe stuck with you or that you were like, okay, I'm going to tuck this into my brain for later, the thing that was working the best for you?
I remember we did several different scripts, and I don't know. I remember I tried to do an accent. It didn't really work out. I tried,
You
um,
know, sometimes you can actually create a character voice without it having a definitive accent per se, like, oh, they're French, they're Russian, they're German. They can have a character voice that maybe leans towards an accent, but isn't quite an accent. You can sometimes just use it as a fun character, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a regular, consistent accent per se.
mhm.
Also, some characters might have a mishmash of dialects and accents. Maybe they're well traveled, maybe they've lived in different places. Like my little sister dated a guy who originally was I think he lived in Bosnia. He's half Serbian, half Bosnian, which is so interesting because of the war that they had between the countries. But I think he lived in Bosnia, then he lived in Germany for a while. So he was fluent in Bosnian, fluent in German, and then he moved to the US. So he has a really interesting dialect because he can speak Serbian, Bosnian, German, American English. And so it's really interesting to listen to him speak because all of that shows up in the way that he talks, right? So you can have characters that are combinations or that maybe you're just kind of creatively expressing with that. So you could use that voice even if you're like, it wasn't really an accent that was consistent and steady, you could still use it for something. So it never hurts to be creative and to explore and to experiment and to come up with those voices and be like, that wasn't quite where I was going, but oh well. I had an audition one time where they were like, could you try it in an Irish accent? And I was not at all prepared, not at all. I had never worked on an Irish accent at that point. And I said, sure, I'll try. And then I finished and they said, that was a wonderful British accent. And I said, thank you. So, I tried. I did something. They were like, really, it was a great British accent. And they were like, so I'm pretty sure you could do the Irish. I just don't think you know how yet. And I was like, that's correct. I don't know how at the time.
Right.
And so, that happens too. I recently was working on something and the guy said, you're like 95% a perfect British accent. And I was like, thank you. And he was like, there are just like certain words that we say differently that maybe I just don't know because I don't live there, you know? So like just little tiny things. And he was like, you're so, so close. He was like, they're just little tweaks we have to make. And so, you know, if you're not native and you've never lived there, we work at it, we get it pretty good, you know, but then you probably for some jobs will need to do specific coachings on that dialect. I mean, but that's great. Like I've done coachings on it and I was like, ooh, I sound like 95% British. That's pretty good. Like I was like,
I need
good job, Sel. I thought that was good. He just was like, there just every now and then there's like a little moment where it's like, I hear the American coming in, you know? And so I think it's like they'll stress different syllables, that kind of thing, or like they'll say where, you know, when we'd say where, we don't pronounce the H in the WH spelled words, those kind of things. So
I haven't heard my
minimal
husband
things.
yet.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Got a crazy accent.
Oh, I love that. That's fun. I bet that's really fun to get to hear that all the time. I grew up with a dad from Alabama and a mom from Minnesota. So that was pretty interesting because, you know, we had the, hey, y'all, that's a big old truck out there. And then we had the, oh, yeah, oh, sure, you betcha, don't you know? You know, so.
Totally.
So I had, you know, a fun time at family reunions and such. They'd tell me I had the accent. And I was like, do you hear yourselves? So, yeah, it's pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of different people, different characters. And what's so great is that we get to bring a part of who we are into each character we portray. So, you know, it's kind of like a blend. No two people will ever play the same character quite the same way, which is pretty fun, I think. It makes it really exciting because there's a world of possibilities. All right, so are we wanting to continue working on creating characters today? Do you want to work on some commercial scripts? Do you want to work on some narration?
Mm, I honestly feel like I should work on narration just because I feel like it's more likely if I were
Sure.
to try to pursue
Yeah.
just with my current
It
life.
is at least half of the industry. Some people say more than half the industry. I will say it is definitely at least half of the voice acting industry or the voiceover industry is narration jobs. And there are so many different kinds, not just audiobook narration, but even things like e-learning or being a voicemail when you call a corporation and, you know, the answering machine service, they want it to sound like a real person, or things like a GPS voice, you know. There are so many possibilities with narration. So I think that's a great place to start. And we have nonfiction and fiction narration as well. So let's pull up some narration practice scripts. There are lots of them out there. So we're going to find some good ones for you to play with today. All righty. Voices.com has a great blog. That's a free blog if you want to maybe check that out.
I
That
actually
could be
used to have a
helpful.
profile in there.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you can build a free profile on there to get started. And then later on, you might want to do the paid profile. It is one of the more expensive sites. So I usually advise people to wait until they have quite a bit of time to dedicate to it, because if you're paying $500 a year, then you probably want to be sure that you're, you know, putting in the time to audition all the time. They do, though, have a sale 1 or 2 times a year where it's $350 for the year, so you might want to wait and sign up then. All right. So here is a link to the voices.com blog sample scripts to practice with. So that's a great resource there. I'm also going to give you Edge Studio has some other good resources as far as practice scripts on their website. Voice 123 has some sample narration scripts as well. I'm going to go ahead and put those into the chat. And then I had already given you that PDF from before, that's another great resource. Let's go ahead and look at the voices.com first, and we are going to take a look at some narration scripts in here. They have different categories. They've got commercial, they've got television, they've got like new media, like YouTube kind of things, radio. They've got a lot of ads because there actually are a lot of commercial opportunities out there, which is great. Let's try an entertainment industry script to get started.
Is it the sports and entertainment commercial scripts? No. Which
There are a few different options.
health and beauty commercials?
Mhm.
You want me to just choose one? Is that what you're saying? I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm
sorry.
taking a look at some different things here. I guess those are more like ads, aren't they? Mm, maybe an explainer video script would be a good place to look. Let's do that. So this would be more like the e-learning kind of vibe. Um, so let's start with the 1 minute Weequilibrium productivity software. So I pasted the script into the chat. Here is the link to that page specifically. Now, what's great about seeing it on their page is that they show you what it looks like when you're on an audition site. It has the client, the voice age that they're looking for, either young adult or middle-aged adult, gender, male or female. It has a job description. They give you some direction as well. They tell you the category, the industry, the style, confident, dynamic, professional, English, any accent. And then they have 3 different lengths of audition scripts here. It looks like um, they have a broad audience, basically any young adults or middle-aged adults. They want you to sound like a trusted peer, but also a knowledgeable expert who is eager to announce this new software to the world because they themselves are all too familiar with the struggle of balancing work and leisure. That being said, they invite you to put your own spin on the creative direction. They're looking for someone who can bring their own distinct personality to the script read. So that gives you a little bit of freedom to experiment here. All right. So this could be like at a conference doing a presentation. It could be um, like a video that they send to companies that explains what it is. It could be something explaining it to investors, potential investors, like pitching investors. It could be so many different things that it's used for. It could just be like a YouTube video to show people what it is and what it does and how it works, teaching people about the app. So think real person who is genuinely excited about this, but with a little bit of professional polish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and take a read through of that 1 minute script first, silently, get an idea of how it's going to go. And then I want you to just read it out loud once. Just kind of get it in your mouth, let it flow, just kind of feel it, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Second. I'm gonna shut my door if that's okay.
No problem.
So just go ahead.
Yeah, just dive in. So don't worry about it being, perfect this first time. I call the first read through a stumble through because it's just like, I'm figuring it out.
The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between, from when to pick up Timmy's birthday cake to when the next report is due. So why do our personal and professional goals still feel so out of reach? We've never been so measured or so burnt out. What if there was an app that knew your personal preferences and long-term goals, that could deliver a personalized, ever-evolving calendar that created true balance in your life? An app that helped you achieve everything you ever dreamed of, step by step, on a schedule that works for you. Introducing Weequilibrium, the productivity app that provides you with a custom, diversified routine that equally considers your need for both work and leisure. Download it for free at weequilibrium.com today.
Good. I think it's like equilibrium,
Weequilibrium. It,
equilibrium.
it,
So
yeah.
it was just a little like blurred in one syllable there. So
Weequilibrium.
yeah, yeah, perfect. All right, great. So then, excellent. So what were maybe some of the things that you noticed in there that were like, okay, this is kind of a clue as to the vibe, the energy, the style, the target audience? What are the things that you notice there? One thing, we definitely need to make sure that the name of the company is very clear and then what it does is very important. But I also always like to think about who's my target audience? What kind of person do I think that they would want to listen to as well? Yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and try just kind of glancing through it. What stands out to you?
Well, I mean, it's talking about technology, but it's also talking about like Timmy's birthday cake and when a report is due. So that makes me think of like a working mom,
Sure.
um, or parent. Um, that it's there's lots of lists being shown here. Um, Trying to help the professional parents is what I would say.
Yeah. Nice. Good. All right. So then, helping busy professional parents. That's our key goal here. And so I feel like if I was a busy professional parent, the kind of person I most likely am going to listen to is another busy professional parent who maybe has figured it out, and going, okay, what are you doing? How do you make it better? Right. So sounding like another busy professional parent who's like, hey, let me help you out. That would be, I think, the goal. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and try that again.
The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken in, and a million milestones in between, from when to pick up Timmy's birthday cake to when the next report is due. So, why do our personal and professional goals still feel so out of reach? We've never been so measured or so burnt out. What if there was an app that knew your personal preferences and long term goals, that could deliver a personalized, ever evolving calendar that created true balance in your life? An app that helped you achieve everything you've ever dreamed of, step by step, on a schedule that works for you. Introducing Weequilibrium, the productivity app that provides you with a custom, diversified routine that equally considers your need for both work and leisure. Download it for free at weequilibrium.com today.
Nice.
Kind of
Very
messy.
good.
There's just
All
a
right.
lot of, yeah.
That's all right. That was better. Okay. So I want you to go through and we're going to try a different approach. You're
Okay.
going to watch for the punctuation, observe the punctuation, think about phrasing. So thinking about shaping that phrase, that it has a beginning, middle, and end, that it kind of has an arc to it. And then we have a lift at the end of that phrase, and then another connected thought, another lift, another connected thought, another lift. And then you can also, with that, have some inflection, right? The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. And then I have a pause because there's punctuation mark, right? A period. We use technology to track how long we've slept, pause, how many steps we've taken, pause, and a million milestones in between, pause, right? So, really observing the punctuation mark and thinking about the phrase shapes a little bit more. Okay, try that again.
The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between. From when to pick up Timmy's birthday cake to when the next report is due. So, why do our personal and professional goals still feel so out of reach? We've never been so measured or so burnt out. What if there was an app that knew your personal preferences and long term goals, that could deliver a personalized, ever evolving calendar that created true balance in your life? An app that helped you achieve everything you've ever dreamed of, step by step, on a schedule that works for you? Introducing Weequilibrium, the productivity app that provides you with a custom, diversified routine that equally considers your need for both work and leisure. Download it for free at weequilibrium.com today.
Nice. Good. All right. How did that feel?
Less rushed. Um, I also realized that there's some question marks in there, so I can be using that more for
Hmm.
to add like dynamics,
Yeah.
go up and pitch. I find
Right.
the more.
Actually asking them the question. Exactly. Beautiful. And another thing that I think is nice is, so you mentioned you can take a little more time. It's more relaxed. I think if this was more of that commercially vibe, that commercially style, then we probably would do it faster because they're paying per second and it's pretty expensive, right? So the 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between, right? So that would be a little more like perky, happy, and fast. But if this is more of an explainer video, then it is going to be a little more relaxed. We are going to take our time a little bit more. And we want it to feel like, hey, I'm at ease because this app has helped me be less stressed. And I think that's what was coming across, which is really nice. Um, okay, good. So then we are already doing more inflection and pitch variation. Awesome. Then let's go through this time, and I want you to think about what are my key important words to stress and emphasize. The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. So I did 21st century changed and organized. But you can do whatever words you think are most important to stress, right? We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between, right? So thinking about where do I want to stress? What is my word choice that I want to highlight or spotlight? Yeah, let's try that again.
I really was trying to do that the first time.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But there's
Sometimes
a lot of
too,
words. Yeah.
when we're doing too many things at once, it can be kind of tricky. So I feel like you improved so much on the phrasing and on the pitch variation, and I feel like we can add a little more of that stressing onto what you just did, and it's going to make a big difference. Yeah, so try that now.
The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between. From when to pick up Timmy's birthday cake to when the next report is due. So, why do our personal and professional goals still feel so out of reach? We've never been so measured or so burnt out. What if there was an app that knew your personal preferences and long term goals, that could deliver a personalized, ever evolving calendar that created true balance in your life? An app that helped you achieve everything you've ever dreamed of, step by step, on a schedule that works for you. Introducing Weequilibrium, the productivity app that provides you with a custom, diversified routine that equally considers your need for both work and leisure. Download it for free at weequilibrium.com today.
Nice. I liked that a lot. What did you like about that take?
I don't know. I don't know. It was it was fine. I think it was my better one of them all. I think I
Yeah.
tried to incorporate all of the things that we have practiced.
Mhm.
I didn't get it perfect every time, but I was thinking about the punctuation. I was trying to think about when there was a question. I was trying to think about not rushing. Um, I was still trying to be a bit lively and professional, and think about what a professional parent might say to someone else. So I was trying to incorporate it
Right.
all. So.
Yeah, awesome. Good. So I thought that you also sounded more compassionate and genuinely like thoughtful and concerned, not concerned in a like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about you way, but more in a very compassionate, caring way, which I thought was really nice. That came across really beautifully, that take. So awesome job on that. Good. So what if we did it? Um, I felt like you sounded like seasoned. What if you were a younger parent? Like maybe you have little babies, so you're not quite as like older and wiser. You just sounded a little bit more like mature, seasoned, older, wiser. So what if you did more of that, like really young adult, like maybe you're like 22 and you have like a little baby and you've recently graduated college, so like you're pretty young at this point and you were talking, how would you have a little bit of a different energy?
Okay, I can try that. The 21st century has changed the way we organize our lives. We use technology to track how long we've slept, how many steps we've taken, and a million milestones in between. From when to pick up Timmy's birthday cake to when the next report is due. So, why do our personal and professional goals still feel so out of reach? We've never been so measured or so burnt out. What if there was an app that knew your personal preferences and long term goals, that could deliver a personalized, ever evolving calendar that created true balance in your life. An app that helps you achieve everything you ever dreamed of, step by step, on a schedule that works for you. Introducing Weequilibrium, the productivity app that provides you with a custom, diversified routine that equally considers your need for both work and leisure. Download it for free at weequilibrium.com today.
Nice. Yeah, it has a little bit of a different energy, a different approach to it. I really liked that shift you had about halfway through. That was really nice. A really good, solid beat shift there. Um, I Personally, I actually like the other way better. However, that being said, I do like the other way better, but I think sometimes it can be nice, especially since they gave you such a broad, they so much freedom. They were like a broad age range, a broad accent range, a broad approach range, right? They were kind of like, do what you want with it. Um, so with that in mind, I like to explore different options, but I actually did like the other take a little bit better. But that being said, I could see them if the director wanted a little more of a youthful vibe going with this take instead. So I think it just kind of depends on the director's vision. But yeah, that was really good. So why don't we take a look at a different one now instead of the explainer? Let's do sales training, financial sales training voiceover scripts. So here is that. So this would be more like a corporate training kind of a thing. Yeah, so you're training people at the company in like new sales stuff. Let's do instead of the minute long one, let's go with a slightly shorter one, like maybe we can do the 45-second one. Um, so remember that notebook and pen that came in your welcome kit backpack. All right, so this is kind of like the corporate training videos that people get sent. It's like, hey, we're updating our HR policies, watch these videos or whatnot. Um, so it's a financial institution dedicated solely to helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses. Hmm. They need a female or male voice who sounds like their early 30s, seasoned, maybe run their own business, but still understand the lingo thrown around today, so still current. Um, Somewhere between expert and friend, has more of a girl next door quality, warm and pulls in the learner. They have a little bit of character and personality, making it engaging. Yeah. We don't want anyone to tune out. A sense of humor and conversational tone is important. All right. Conversational, approachable. We got this. Ha, finance and conversational, approachable. That'll be fun. All righty. So, yeah, I think you just have to sound like enthusiastic about what we're doing. It sounds like maybe you are like a pre-recorded video and then they take breaks between and go do an activity in the training and then they come back and you're like, good job, everyone. Now on to our next segment. Here's an intro into what you're going to be doing and I'll explain it to you. Now go do the activity. Yeah, so it's sort of like your pre-recorded videos and then they'll have times to actually engage and try things. So yeah, we have to sound more conversational, I'd say, in this one. It has to feel to them like it's a live Zoom call or like you're actually there in the room with them, even though you're just a voice. Alrighty, so I like that it opens with a question. I think that's helpful. Um, And like the ending, we'll see you back here in an hour. That's kind of like a hook to get them back to you later. So I think it has like an engaging start and ending there, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and try it and just try to sound very like friendly, conversational, like you're there with them in the room.
Remember that notebook and pen that came in your welcome kit backpack? Now's the time to take them out because we're going to do a really awesome interactive personality assessment. You're going to find an open table or a beanbag chair in the forum with the person beside you and quiz them. First, grab one of the personality assessment sheets from your facilitator. Once you find where you're hanging out, ask away from the questions provided on the sheet. You and your partner will conduct the assessment on each other. And once you have the answers, you both will log each other's assessments into the link we've provided you. Once you get the results, chat it out with your partner and compare each other's strengths and differences. This will help you understand what makes your teammates tick. We'll see you back here in an hour.
Nice. Okay, for a first take, that was actually really good, really engaging, friendly. Um, I feel like at the very beginning, we could maybe start it with a little more high energy and enthusiasm. Um, and then I think it can become not like serious, heavy, serious, but a little more serious as you get more into instruction mode. But at the beginning, just a little more like enthusiastic, engaging, welcoming kind of a vibe, and a little bit faster just when you very first start it. Um, it's a little more like perky, high energy, just right there at the start. What do you think of that? Yeah. All right. Can we try it again?
Sure. Okay. Remember that notebook and pen that came in your welcome kit backpack? Now's the time to take them out because we're going to do a really awesome interactive personality assessment. You're going to find an open table or beanbag chair in the forum with the person beside you and quiz them. First, grab one of the personality assessment sheets from your facilitator. Once you find where you're hanging out, ask away from the questions provided on the sheet. You and your partner will conduct the assessment on each other. And once you have the answers, you both will log each other's assessment into the link we've provided you. Once you get the results, chat it out with your partner and compare each other's strengths and differences. This will help you understand what makes your teammates tick. We'll see you back here in an hour.
Nice. Good. Yeah. And that might be really different than your default energy or whatnot, but I think because they specified that we have to not lose anybody, nobody can be falling asleep. We have to do things that are surprising or a little bit extra throughout and have more of those sharp shifts, those beat shifts happening throughout, which I thought that time we had a little bit more of that. So awesome job. Good job taking that direction. What was maybe something that felt good to you with that take?
Um, I don't know. I didn't really like it.
That's okay. That's
I
all
really
right.
felt like I started off okay and then I don't know, I think I
Felt like maybe you lost it a little bit. That's okay. I actually thought as you went, you kind of seemed to like get settled into a little bit of a more comfortable flow, like you kind of warmed up into it. I do think that very first moment was more like grab their attention. So that was definitely better. And I liked that. So I actually thought the rest was pretty good. So maybe you just were trying something new that just felt a little bit different and uncomfortable just because it was outside of your comfort zone because it actually, I thought, sounded pretty good. But let's go ahead and try it again. And if you were going to pick one thing that you want to have as a focus for this run through, what would that one thing be? What would you give yourself as a focus, as an intention for this run through?
Um, I think trying to be my more lively.
Okay, more lively. And think about what that means for you as an individual, because lively looks different on different people, right? We want it to feel authentic. If it feels fakey, then the audience is going to kind of tune you out. So think about times that you consider yourself more lively, times in life when you have been more lively. Think about things that kind of get you in a more lively mood. If it's maybe like Christmas morning and, family opening presents, or it's going to a concert of an artist you really like, or it's, maybe going out with the girlfriends and having margaritas. So whatever it is that helps you to feel more lively and enthusiastic, what that genuinely looks like on you, and then try to sort of channel that energy into this script. Yeah? All right, let's try it.
Remember that notebook and pen that came in your welcome kit backpack? Now's the time to take them out because we're going to do a really awesome interactive personality assessment. You're actually going to find an open table or beanbag chair in the forum with the person beside you and quiz them. First, grab one of the personality assessment sheets from your facilitator. Once you find where you're hanging out, ask away from the questions provided on the sheet. You and your partner will conduct the assessment on each other. And once you have the answers, you both will log each other's assessment into the link we provided to you. Once you get the results, chat it out with your partner and compare each other's strengths and differences. This will help you understand what makes your teammates tick. We'll see you back here in an hour.
Nice. I really liked that. That was very different than any of your other takes on this one, I thought. And I thought it was really fun. Like it was very engaging. It was lighthearted. It was personable. I definitely felt like I heard a little bit more of a sense of humor coming through this time, which is something that they asked for. So I was really excited to hear that. How did you feel about that take?
I preferred this take. I tried to think about how I would chat to, like, if I were giving a training session to my own team. So that's what I was going for.
Mhm. Yeah, nice. Good. I definitely thought that I heard those elements in there and it was great. So if you were going to mm, maybe give yourself one key takeaway, what would that be?
From today
Hmm.
as a whole,
Yeah.
um, I like the idea of some of the little subtle changes.
Hmm.
Also, the idea of like really thinking about kind of going places with the narration. Like, don't just keep it at one like energy. Make it more dynamic. I think that's
Mm.
feel like I
That's a
get
good takeaway. Yeah.
more positive feedback
Mhm.
when I try to do that.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. Good. So I really loved that last take. I thought it was wonderful. So tapping into your truthful, friendly, excited, engaging kind of energy worked beautifully. So remember that and use that more again in the future as you're practicing. I know that these kind of scripts can feel kind of funky just because it's like this weird balance where it's informative, it's sort of like you're teaching, it's also a little bit of kind of salesy because it's like I have to get you excited to learn about this, and I have to get you to want to engage.
There's
And
also
it,
some
it
weird
is
stuff
kind of a
going on with
funky,
it.
what was that?
I said that I also feel like there's a few strange things that happen in it that I think aren't like someone wouldn't do naturally. Like the word
Mhm.
assessment is in here like 20 times. Like most people will try to, find other vocabulary words.
Right. Yeah.
I think they're trying to trip us up. That's what I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah. It it's really interesting because we get scripts and we go, I would never say it this way ever. And we're like, man, today I had to look up at least 10 words working on scripts because I was just like, how do I say this name? Or I've never heard of this city, or what is this word? Or it's like similar to a word I know, but not quite. And I'm like, why would you use this word? And sometimes it almost feels like somebody translated something from another language, and it's just like awkward. Or like you said, they use a word again and again and again, and you go, this is just not natural. And how do I make it sound genuine and interesting when I'm repeating myself again and again? Right. And so it's like we have to change the way we said that same thing each time we say it to make it feel alive. So that is one of the trickiest things about our job is making these scripts that don't feel natural, don't feel real, don't feel like something I would just say to somebody in any realm. And we have to make it feel natural to the listener. So always going back to what is the goal here? My goal is to engage them, get them excited about participating, being part of this workshop, this experience, this learning opportunity, getting them to, want to connect. And so figuring out a way to make that goal come through, even if the words seem awkward, because you are going to run into that. And unfortunately, most of the time, more often than not, we are not allowed to change the words. We are given a script and we have to read that script. Sometimes it comes out and I'm like, that was the best I can do. It's clear and the words are in the right order. I had a sentence today that it was like, of this, of this, of this, of this, of this. And it was like over and over, just of. And it was literally every other word was an of. And I think it was five ofs. And I was just like, no one would ever say this. It was so awkward. And I was like, I don't know, one, what exactly it's supposed to mean. And two, what is the most important to bring out and emphasize? Like, I was just like, if I don't even know exactly what it means, how do I make it sound interesting? So I did the best I could with what I knew. But you definitely are going to run into those kind of situations. And I thought what you landed on was actually really nicely done. And I could definitely see them using that take. So brava to you. Good job. And keep up that good work. We're going to kind of piggyback on those thoughts next time. I'll see you next week, same time, 8:15. Yeah?
Same time, 8:15. Um, there was one thing I did.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you would tell me like what number we were on because I'm not sure. I think aren't we
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah,
7?
I'm gonna check and see what I can see on the website because you were paying through Take Lessons and unfortunately they're shutting down. So I need to check where things are at with that because I believe whatever lessons are unused, they'll just be refunded by the company was my understanding because I asked about that. I was like, well, wait a minute, if people like have already paid lessons or whatnot. So I'm not sure if I
But
can
does it go
still be
to?
marking them or if it will because I actually don't deal with payments through them. I just see like you have so many lessons available to schedule, and then I just would like mark them as attended or canceled or whatever. So I need to check on that just because things are changing because they're shutting down. So I'm gonna check in with them on that, and I will let you know because
And then if
I'm
I
a
want
little
to,
hazy on it.
no problem. I was just wondering. And then
Yeah.
also how to buy 10 more or whatever.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yep, no problem at all. So a couple options there. I am teaching through Lesson Face now, or if it's easier, you can like send it through Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle. We can find another way. I can send you an
I
invoice or
have all the
whatnot.
ways.
So
It's
yeah,
fine.
great.
Yeah, whatever you
Perfect.
prefer.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna check on that for you. And I will let you know what it looks like because it was my understanding that whatever isn't used should just be refunded to the original payment method. But I'm not sure if there are still lesson credits in there to be used at this point, or if that is done at this point. So I need to check on that. So I will let you know, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Awesome work today, Shamara. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.